Enters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning is Dale Rogers and Desiree, granddaughter, I believe. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Good deal. Well, for folks that aren't aware, Dale and Kay Rogers they were awarded from the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. They had their 2022 Community Leader Awards banquet last week, and Kay and Dale Rogers, deservedly so, were named the Lifetime Achievement winners. So, first off, congratulations to the family. I know, in all the years and success and everything, this is not as nearly a big a milestone, but we're so glad that we get to honor your family here for all the years and of just being a part of this community and everything else. Was it a bit of surprise for you guys to hear about this, or is it just another day at the office for y'all?
It's kind of a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I would imagine. Obviously, we lost Kay here in the last year, so we're so sorry to hear about that. We kind of wish we could have done it while she was still with us, but that just didn't work out that way. I got to ask, with all the years of Roswell Livestock, and Farm Supply, the whole, is it just become your life at some point where, because it's kind of hard to not think of Roswell without it. And then just to be here, the longevity. And so, I mean, it's for us, it's a way of life here in Roswell. I imagine for you guys, it is your life. I mean, could you imagine doing anything else at this point, or it's thinking back and looking on it? When this all started, did you look at it here and think, yeah, this is where it's going to be, 30, 40 years from now?
No, we had no clue of that because we started it from like a 10 by 10. We had the Roswell Livestock Auction, and we started the store in 1975. Just a little 10 by 10 building and on Southeast Main, and just gradually added stuff as people requested it, and tried to. Our goal is not to sell more stuff; it's to try to solve people's problems. Most people have a problem whether we can help them with, and that's kind of our whole goal.
Well, it turns out, I guess a lot of people had problems, so you ended up selling a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of my favorite stories that my grandma said was, she said, well, one day we went to the store and we forgot to go home. It was a huge part of their life.
Sure. But if you think about it, and this is where, I'm from Maryland originally. I've been in Roswell. I've called it home for 20 plus years, but that's something, especially when, you look at when, like you said, in the 70s, when you start this business, we live on an island here in Roswell, New Mexico, and there wasn't internet or, you could get stuff through the mail, but we didn't live in a world where you could have everything at your fingertips. So you guys probably had to get pretty creative on, making sure this stuff was available, tracking it down. I mean, I imagine for a lot of folks in this community, you brought the world to them where it may have not would have had access to stuff, especially, in those early days. I mean, you guys were probably the resource for many folks here in town.
Well, we tried to be able to get stuff that they really needed, and we appreciated all of their business too.
Sure.
Appreciated their customers.
So when is the community stuff? Was that always a part of it too? Because for folks that don't know, and this is probably why at the end of the day, why you guys are beloved by so many people and so worthy of this award, but at what point did it, or was it always the case where, you guys run a business, but I feel like your business is so successful because you guys, it was a business that was a heart, a family, and you weren't, like you said at the beginning, you were just in the business of helping people, but at the end of the day, a business is set, you sell things, people buy them, but there's so many organizations in this community that can thank Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply for, their support and donations. And this is something that's been long-standing as long as I've been here. Was that always part of the equation, or did that kind of just come in a little later?
it's kind of been a part of the equation, that it's just been pretty interesting over the years, trying to help people
Sure.
and what was right. And it's kind of interesting that when they started Leadership Roswell, I was on the board of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And that was kind of interesting. And I've always been real appreciative, and I thought they did a real good job on that Leadership Roswell with the young people.
Did you ever go through the class yourself?
No, I didn't.
Okay. You could probably teach the class, I imagine, but
Kay went through and was a graduate, and she then encouraged me to go through, and I was a graduate, and she was such an avid supporter of that. She thought that was just so important.
Gotcha.
And just now hearing that Grandpa was on the board the year that they started, that is so cool. I didn't know that.
Well, and for folks that aren't aware, the Leadership Roswell, Rick Kraft and his staff do an amazing job with that program. But it is its parent company, or whatever you want to call it, is the Chamber of Commerce. It is a chamber program. So it's great to see that yourself and some of those other board members had the foresight to say, you know what, we need to invest some time and support into this Leadership Roswell thing. I think it's a good deal. So we thank you for your wisdom those years ago on that board to see what the potential is, and because I know Rick and them, it wouldn't be without what they do, but without what you guys, those decisions, they wouldn't even have a chance to do that. So it's really great that way back then y'all saw the need and saw the potential for this. So I'm guessing since the family's all gone through it, did you get it all through osmosis, Dale, that between your wife and your granddaughter? And so you probably got all the class lessons you needed there, huh?
Yeah, they was a big help for sure.
Well, let me ask. Can I ask this? When your wife went through, and then your granddaughters, and so did they come back and incorporate some of what they learned into the business practice? Like, did they, because I know as a graduate of the Leadership Roswell myself, you come out of there and you feel a little fired up and you're ready to do. Like, did they come in ready to start? All right, I got some ideas. We're gonna change this. Was there a little of that going on every time someone graduated from the class in the family?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we definitely, Grandma and Grandpa both are lifetime learners. Like, she always had a book playing in her car, and was, she always was learning something.
Gotcha.
And my grandma way, and always tried to use that in her everyday life and in her business. And she taught me to do the same thing. And, she taught me you can learn something every day, no matter how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you're too smart or too good or whatever to learn something, because that's how you move forward and succeed.
Sure.
It's by constantly trying to learn something out of every situation.
Absolutely. I agree. And problem is, do we all have that motivation when we get tired? And it sounds like that was kind of instilled in all your family from a very young age. So,
yeah.
So, Dale, I got to ask you, and I know this is one of those generalized, but looking back on your time here and stuff, what are some of the more proud moments, things that achievements that you're most proud of with whether it's the family or Russell Livestock and Farm Supply? What are a couple things that either you're most proud of or stand out as really positive memories for you?
Well, one thing is my wife. She was always a stabilizing influence, and really appreciated her. And then and also the family.
Mm-hmm.
Our family works here in the business too. Her daughter and son and granddaughters. We had 8 grandkids, and they all worked here at some time during their growing up period.
That's great.
But we had the livestock auction, and it's kind of interesting that we started it in 1972. It was basically a sheep deal.
Okay.
Because 80% of the livestock at that time was sheep in this country. And there's one place that sell, and they quit fighting the coyotes, the varmints. It made it harder on the one on each side that still had sheep, so there's not many sheep left in this country. We had a sheep sale on a Thursday and a cattle sale on Monday. And so went to building the cattle sale,
Mm-hmm.
and it got to be one of the premier livestock auctions in the state.
Was sheep used for meat or just wool back then, or was it for both?
Both.
Okay.
And that was the advantage. They had two crops. They had a wool and then the lamb
Okay.
sales. Ranchers, they had two sources of income.
I guess Americans just didn't fall in love with lamb as a meat, I guess, or did the taste shift? I'm a big fan of lamb, by the way, but I didn't know. Is it just America shifted to be more beef eaters, you think? Or I wonder what the change was there.
Yeah, I think they just change in appetites.
Okay.
And availability for them.
So what's the...
When we sold, we went to every other Thursday in the summer.
Okay.
After about, probably by the 1980s, we went to every other Thursday in the summer and then every Thursday in the fall.
Okay.
And numbers going down on sheep. And by the time we sold the auction in 1984, they quit having livestock auction. There wasn't enough sheep around. Or they still have a livestock auction for cattle, but not for sheep. There
Gotcha.
wasn't enough sheep to have the auction.
Okay. I gotta ask, when was the toughest time for you in the business? Where was the time? Was there ever a time where you were going and you're thinking, I don't know if we're gonna make it to next year? Did you ever have those moments where as a family you were kind of wondering where you're going to be able to keep it going, or any of those times where the going got tough and you didn't know if you're going to be able to overcome it?
Not really.
Good. Just, I'm sure they had tough times, but there was just no, no, we're not, we'll figure out a way to get through it.
One of the major things that did to kind of help us be successful is the store is wildly diverse. I mean, there's so many different things that we carry that whenever one thing is lacking, like, so if people aren't buying feed, you've still got the fencing and the tire shop and the clothing and the hardware. And then if the hardware is lacking, then feed's strong. And when clothing is down, then the tire shop is strong. It's just, I think the way that they developed the store
Gotcha.
just really helped it to, when something was down, something else was up.
Gotcha. When you're a store that really caters to the jack of all trade type,
Right.
it's there's always going to be something for somebody. It's just like you said, it ebb and flows where, okay, maybe this is more popular. That'll carry us through. Well, now that's dying off and something else, again, the diversity of what you guys offer probably was your biggest saving grace maybe in some of those times.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense because at the end of the day, if you're, especially, and like we said, those early times where there wasn't as many ways to access things, it was, you were that resource for communities to, like, this is something that I think younger people may have something, it's hard to wrap their heads around it because of the world we live in today. But when you guys first started, I imagine the difference between people settling here and be able to carve out a life for themselves, for them to be able to do that or not do that rests solely on Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply being here as a source for their needs and things. You know what I mean, I know that sounds a bit like big or like, wow, that seems very like way important, but in reality, that's really what was going on, especially, probably the 70s and 80s where like internet and there, for folks, 20s and 30-year-olds today, it's like, you don't understand when, you didn't have everything at your fingertips. There was things you order in a catalog and it would be months before you see it again and things like that. And for you to bring, the convenience of having something that day here in Roswell, I don't think younger people can really wrap their head around how big a deal that was to have that back. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Just for y'all's ability to do that, it's where we take it for granted today, but you guys were literally the lifeblood for a lot of people in here because you were that resource for folks to get the things they needed.
One thing that really helped us, we joined a buying group about 10 years ago. We got 300 farm stores around all over the nation, and it was a buying group, and that was a good source to get products through that. And I was on the board of directors for 10 years of that buying group, the farm stores, and I was chairman of it for 2 years. And that was, by being in contact with other stores around over the nation, you was able to come up with some different ideas on how to get product. And that is a key, being able to get the products in.
Sure. I imagine. Now, Dale, are you still involved with some of the day-to-day stuff, or do Desiree and the rest of the family take over most of that now?
No, I'm still involved. I don't plan on retiring because I see people that if they've worked hard all their life, if they quit, they don't last long.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're like, you're gonna have to pull me in out of the field. I'm gonna keep working until you tell me to come in.
I try to get here at 6 o'clock in the morning because I want to be sure. Spent too many years having to wait till 8 o'clock till something opened up. So I get here at 6 and open the store. So if somebody comes early and needs to go do something, we're available.
Yes,
Gotcha.
the Joe family is that we hope that when we grow up, we will have as much energy as Dale Rogers because he gets way before anyone else.
Well, are you paying it?
We open at 7, and he's like, nope, when I'm here, we open at 6. I'm like, oh.
He's like, well, I'm here. Might as well turn on the light. That makes sense. So, are you guys paying attention what Dale eats and everything? So you can, you gotta.
That's where he gets all his energy.
Yeah, pay attention. Just mirror and shadow him and do all that.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, running Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply during COVID, what was that experience like? I mean, obviously, a lot of businesses didn't make it through this, but you guys are here strong. Well, for you guys, what was that like, and what did you do different to make sure that you guys will be here for the next generation?
One thing advantage we had, we were essential because we sold feed for animals.
Sure.
So we were essential.
So you never had to close down. That helped.
That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to wear a mask and everything like everybody did during that time. But we just kept going and glad to be able to stay open so that they could get products they needed for the animals.
How's this life after with supply and demand? How are you guys navigating? I know it's very tricky to probably get certain items on the shelf, but how has that struggle been for you guys? Are you guys still managing to keep making? I mean, you guys are. I'm just, is it a struggle, or is it getting a little easier for you guys?
It's really a struggle, especially it started out being metal. Anything metal was hard to get.
Yeah.
Or any plastic. And it's hard to get, and we're still having some issues, but it's a lot better than it was. But like we've had feeders, which goes on the back of a pickup for the ranch used to feed their cattle, and we've had them ordered since August, and we haven't got them yet. And we've had trailers ordered in August, and we finally got them in about 30 days ago. And so anything that was something metal, and then kind of plastic is kind of a problem too,
Interesting.
The resin.
You don't realize how much we take for granted till you find out, you can't have it or have, you know what I mean? Like the process, the things we take for granted on stuff we just have, and then a world like this happens, and things like that, plastic or a little chip for a car, or something that there's, now there's not available. It's I hope at the end of the day it gives an appreciation for stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Like people that grew up during the Depression era, they tend to save things and do all that. And like, I know my grandparents and things always saved those kind of things. And I wonder if we're going to get back into generation of people that are more thrifty and more conscious of what they have and trying to make it last a little longer than it needs to. I personally think that's a good thing, but some may disagree with me.
Change people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had the same struggle on the clothing side of the business. And it was funny how it went from one thing to another. You couldn't get jeans, then you couldn't get boots, then you couldn't get jeans again. Now, currently, we can't get hats. They're quoting us 12 months out time frame to get hats. so it's interesting how it changes, but it definitely makes you more appreciative whenever stuff finally does come back in. You're like, wow, this is so great. So
Absolutely.
I hope that in people's, you know, mindsets a little bit.
And maybe this is the blessing side of it. You know, you have a customer base. You know, these are farmers and ranchers, people that are used to making things happen regardless of scenario. So it helps that you probably got some pretty crafty and ingenuitive customers too, that they can probably shop yourselves and be like, all right, I can't buy what I would need, but I can buy this, and I can make it happen that way, you know, and that's what I think your store is great, because okay, we don't have the thing, but you know what? You got some hose here, you got this, we'll put that together, and guess what? We can make it happen until we get the thing you need. You know, that's we live in a part of the country where we've got people that have that capability, you know.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
you don't realize how great that is until you don't have it.
Right.
So I got to ask you, Dale, I mean, you guys, like, what's next? Do you just keep on keeping on, or, you know, is there, I mean, obviously at some point, you know, you're going to move it on to someone else in the family taking over here. But I mean, what's the future for Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply? What's on the horizon for you guys?
Yeah, our son and daughter and granddaughter's really involved in it, and so that's going to keep on. They'll just keep on keeping on.
Yep.
Just keep on doing it. And just be there for customers when they need it, and when it floods or when it snows or when bad things happen or when not bad things happen, you just need it. You guys are going to be there for folks to take care of whatever needs they got there. So
we really enjoy being able to help the young people, like with their animals and stuff.
Yeah. And you know what I always love? I always love hearing stories where people, because I think people have a certain set of what they think's at Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, and they hear that and you think of, you know, all the stuff you do sell for farmers and ranchers and all that, but then they forget that you have all the clothing and jewelry and, you know, all the more not work essential type things, just more of our pleasure and fun type stuff. And it always amazes me, and you tell people like, and somebody's got beautiful jewelry or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, I got it at Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, and they're like, they got that. I was like, yeah, I was like, they got a little bit of everything, you know. People like go Christmas shopping at Roswell Livestock, and he's like, well, I'm not buying anybody farm and ranch stuff. It's like, no, they got jewelry and all kind. You know, I think especially new people, they get amazed, like, wait a minute, you can get that kind of stuff at Roswell? Yeah, they sell it all there. So does that ever happen every once in a while where you get some new folks or people don't realize, they just think of you as some kind of supply store for farm and ranchers, and then they find jewelry and all the other cool stuff you guys have?
All the time.
It's something that's pretty funny. There's a lady from Santa Fe would come down and buy clothing, and she liked to go home and tell them that she bought that clothing at a livestock supply.
It's kind of like when you tell people you buy a burrito at a gas station, and they're like, that was a good burrito. What do you mean? Yeah, same logic. But that's Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply. You guys have been there for people, whether they want to look good or they want to make sure everything works. That's you guys have them covered, and I'm sure, like you said, you've been doing it since the '70s, and I'm pretty sure long after we're gone, there will be a Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply holding down the fort here in Roswell, New Mexico, which we're always happy to see. So,
we plan on it.
So before we let you guys, anybody want to say hi to? Anything you guys wanted to share that I got sidetracked on before we let you get back to work here?
I don't think so. We really appreciate the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association for giving them that award, and we appreciate the citizens of Roswell for always supporting us and come into the store, and we love seeing all your faces, and we just are really appreciative of living here and being able to be a part of this community.
Well, we appreciate you and your family and Dale and your wife, and we thank you guys for making Roswell being that part of the community that makes it the great community that it is. We talk when, Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is just one of those things you can't not talk about Roswell as a local and not understand the importance of Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply to the history and the future of this community too. So we thank you guys. We thank you, your family for continuing. We thank you for the good, the bad, and the ugly of running Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply all these years. And we can't wait to continue to shop there and keep going and see what's next for the company.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Mike.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And we'll, folks, give as you're popping in and out of Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply next couple of days, give a shout out to the family and tell them thank you for all they've done. We appreciate you guys. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. I'm sure you got about 10 things to work on right now.
I've got to get back to work.
Dale ain't retired yet. We got work to do. So thank you guys. Take care. Have a great day. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. That was Dale Rogers and his granddaughter, Desiree. Dale, it was Desiree did a great speech. Was it Thursday night when she was introducing her granddad to talk there. And of course, everyone that knows Dale's he probably said more there than I've heard him say it. He's a man of, at least in my circle, I mean, he talks, but he's a man more of action than words, and it's just great to see that. So, very happy. So, congratulations to them. And when you guys go out, give them a shout out and attaboy. They have a great family. So, all right, it is 9:40.